How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and today we're going to be talking about AMC and GME. We know that GME had earnings today, and they also released some big news that you need to hear, and which I'm going to be including after we do the technical analysis portion for AMC and GME. We already knew what the market conditions were for today. We saw extreme volatility, and these stocks were not immune to it, as you can see from the price action if you had a chance to take a look at them. So let's get into the technicals, and then we'll go over the news that happened for GME in regards to the earnings report and what they might be doing moving forward, and I'll talk to you guys afterwards. All right, so we're going to be doing a technical analysis for AMC. So overall on the day, AMC was down almost 15%, and we ended up reaching lows of $10.37, and we ended up having a high over here, as you can see, at $11.93. So what we want to take a look at, what were some clear areas of resistance? So we already seen right over here in the early parts of the trading session, the morning session, we definitely had some resistance here at $11.82. We were never able to actually break through this area aside just not being there for not too long. That was just a short spike. We ended up selling off, getting down to a low down here. And what does this look like to you? This is a support level. So it ended up holding itself up fairly well, as you can see, all the way from 10:40 a.m. holding up all the way down to 205 until this area broke. So $11 was actually looking fairly solid. So once this area broke, we ended up getting down to a low over here and having some minimal support here at $10.41. Part of the reasons what we need to look at now, we're in the after hours, and of course the volume is not the same, but you can see that the support area did not hold up that long, so we get down to $10.28. So right now it is definitely looking bearish for AMC stock, but there's one thing that we want to take a look at so we can see actually the bigger picture here. So if we take a look at the 3-month 1-day chart, look at this right here. So AMC is still riding along on this trend. So what we need to look for, if it ends up breaking through $10.68, which it did, then we definitely need to start looking in regards to where it could possibly go. So that's what we're going to go over. So the next level we want to see of support actually hold itself down is right around this $10 area. Okay, so we see if $10 can hold. If $10 can't hold, then we definitely have to start seeing an area in regards to around $9. And if we continue to go on even further, the next support area is around $8. This is another stock as well, considering the market conditions and what's been happening for the past 2 days. I would definitely keep an eye on it, and to make sure that it is continuing its bullish trend, we want to see it bounce off this 21-day EMA line, as you can see here at $10.68. That is a key area. If it doesn't end up breaking this particular area or staying on trend, then we could definitely see a bearish movement going down towards the downside. So please be aware of that. And this is part of the reasons why I tell you guys, make sure that you're always protecting your profits. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be keeping an eye on AMC. I'm going to continue to keep you guys updated and so forth to see if it's still continuing its bullish pattern. But like I said, these are some things that, hey, we have to be prepared for and be aware of, and it's part of the reasons why you should have your stop loss or your trailing stop, so you're always protecting your profits. All right, so we're going to be doing a technical analysis for GME GameStop. So we can see over here, it ended up having a high of $201.75, and then we ended up having a low of the day at $177.55, which you could see over here. And that happened at the later parts of the day because, of course, we knew that they had earnings, and we also had a very rough market conditions today as well. So we could automatically see right off the bat during regular trading hours, there was a strong resistance area here right at $190, as you can see in front of you on the screen. And since it was not able to break this area whatsoever, then we started seeing some downward trends, especially as we got closer into the end of the day. So you could see right over here, looks like we had some support going here at 180 180, but once it broke through, we got into the after hours, ended up getting down to around 176. But this is right before the earnings call. We ended up having a strong move here, getting up to $197. So we end up seeing now what's going on in the after hours. GME got as low as to $151. So what I'm going to be showing you guys just now is a 3-month, 1-day chart where you could possibly see how far this drop can go. But so far right now, it looks like it's making some recoveries. As you can see, it's going to the 160. So as you can see right over here, if GME can stay above $176.21, or even just finishing at that mark, then it continues to stay above on trend. If it ends up finishing lower, then it automatically breaks this trend. So as you can see, we have 150 over here that was just tested. So the next level that we'd have to see is being tested. If that 150 area breaks, then we got to start looking at the 122, the 125 to be exact. So we want to see if that 125 area can hold itself up. Then the next level would definitely, we have to be looking at that $100 area to hold itself up back well. If we end up having some sort of a bullish movement towards the upside, even going in tomorrow, let's say, we start rallying and so forth, then we definitely want to see GME getting back into that $200 range. If not, I believe, in my personal opinion, under $200 is not a great idea if you're trying to swing trade or do short-term trades on GME. This is part of the reasons why I told you this, guys, days ago, that I was not interested in GME when I was seeing that it was struggling in that $200 range. Okay, we already know $200 is support, and if it's literally going back and forth, then it's not the best setup. So that's what I wanted to kind of update you guys on. So that's what we got to look out for. So if it ends up breaking 150 again and then visiting 120, seeing if 120 breaks, then 100 and so forth. So we're now on CNBC.com, and there's an article that just went up about GameStop. So GameStop shares fall 12% as company says it may sell stock to fund transformation. GameStop missed on the top and bottom lines of its quarterly results, but e-commerce sales jumped 175% last quarter and accounted for more than a third of its sales in the period. The brick-and-mortar video game retailer named former Amazon and Google executive Jenna Owens as its new chief operating officer. GameStop also acknowledged in a filing that it was considering selling additional equity shares. During a much-anticipated earnings conference call that at one point reached maximum capacity, the company declined to answer questions. Investors are getting a look at GameStop's fundamentals following a Reddit-fueled trading frenzy earlier this year. Here's what the company did after the bell Tuesday. It released fourth quarter results that missed Wall Street's estimates on the top and bottom lines. In its latest executive shakeup, the company named former Amazon and Google executive Jenna Owens as its new chief operating officer. And in a hint of the transformation that's got some investors excited about the stock, the company said global e-commerce sales jumped 175% last quarter and accounted for more than a third of its sales in the period. GameStop also acknowledged in a filing that it was also considering selling additional equity shares. During a much-anticipated earnings conference call that at one point reached maximum capacity, the company declined to answer questions. The stock traded initially higher after the bell, but was last down about 12%, with traders likely reacting to the potential share sale, an action many investors and analysts thought would be prudent given the Reddit-fueled run-up in the stock. There's also likely some disappointment about the lack of detail from the conference call without any questions answered. Since January 2021, we have been evaluating whether to increase the size of the at-the-market program and whether to potentially sell shares for our Class A common stock under the increased ATM program during the course of fiscal 2021, primarily to fund the acceleration of our future transformation initiatives and general working capital needs, a filing from the company said. For the fiscal period ending January 2021, GameStop earned $1.34 per share on revenue of $2.12 billion. Wall Street was expecting earnings per share of $1.35 on a revenue of $2.21 billion, according to Refinitiv's average of the 6 analysts. GameStop's fiscal fourth quarter earnings typically make up the majority of the company's yearly earnings. Boosted by holiday sales, GameStop's same-store sales rose 6.5% last quarter. No guidance, but February strong. The company said it's continuing to suspend guidance, but it's updating its fulfillment operations to boost the speed of its delivery and services. GameStop CEO George Sherman also revealed that February comparable store sales increased 23% thanks to the strength in hardware sales worldwide. As we look ahead, we are excited by the opportunities that are in front of us as we begin prioritizing long-term digital and e-commerce initiatives while continuing to execute on our core business during this emerging console cycle, Sherman said in the earnings release. During a much-anticipated earnings conference call that at one point reached maximum capacity, the company declined to answer questions. Tuesday's earnings also mark GameStop's first quarterly report since the GameStop trading mania in January. In January, an epic short squeeze in GameStop stock shocked Wall Street and drew attention to an emerging class of retail investors on social media platforms like Reddit. GameStop's share price skyrocketed to $483 per share and subsequently lost 90% of its value. The controversy drew the attention of Wall Street and Washington. Since GameStop's rise and fall in January, the stock has continued to trek higher, with shares up nearly 70% this month. GameStop stock is up more than 860% in 2021. GameStop has a market capitalization of nearly $14 billion, more than 10 times the $1.3 billion market value the stock had at the end of last year. A year ago, GameStop's market capitalization was $245 million. Cohen driving changes. GameStop has traded positively on new developments for the company in the past 5 months, like the appointment of Chewy co-founder Ryan Cohen on GameStop's board and a focus on GameStop's technology and e-commerce transition. GameStop also said after the bell it continues to seek out executive talent with e-commerce, retail, and technology expertise to bolster its turnaround. Sherman said on the conference call that GameStop was focused on transforming into a customer-obsessed technology company that excites gamers. Earlier this month, GameStop announced it tapped Cohen to lead its shift to e-commerce. Cohen is serving as the chairman of a special committee formed by GameStop's board to help its transformation. Board members Alan Adol, Chewy's former top operations executive, and Kurt Wolf, chief investment officer of Hacia Capital Management, also serve on the committee. Naming Owens as a COO is the latest in a series of recent personnel moves. The committee has already appointed a chief technology officer, hired 2 executives to lead customer services and e-commerce fulfillment, and begun a search for a new chief financial officer with tech or e-commerce experience. GameStop previously announced that the current CFO, Jim Bell, will resign on March 26, citing sources familiar with the matter. Business Insider reported that Bell was pushed out by Cohen. GameStop said Tuesday its chief customer officer, Frank Hamlin, will step down. So for my final thoughts in regards to GME, we can see that they're making a lot of changes so they can start to begin transitioning the company to have their focus online. We could also see that they're switching up management. There's people who are stepping down. Everything is being shaken up, and this is good when we start looking at the future for GME. In regards to the stock price, anyone who's thinking about being a long-term investor, like I've been saying for quite some time, be patient. Keep an eye on where the stock actually ends up going. We could see there's some strong selling off going on, but you know what? That is completely understandable because we know that GME comes with a lot of volatility. In regards to if you're going to continue to be trading GME on fluctuations, like I said in my prior videos, I have not decided to touch GME because, like I said, I love it when it's actually holding down that $200 area and moving between those support levels like we speak about on the channel. In regards to AMC, yes, we had some selling off going on and so forth, but like I always say, We need to be patient and see what happens, see things play themselves out, because we did have a lot of volatility today. And even though both of these stocks ended up breaking the trend and not moving like they normally do, we still need to keep an eye on the price action. And with that said, I want to put in the disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor, and this isn't financial advice. So just know when you do invest, you're doing it at your own risk. We'll talk soon.